Give me 1 second. Let me start recording. So, welcome to our virtual workshop. This is hosted by the Eastern Nigeria Film and Arts Initiative. And our goal, the truth of our goal is to create a platform, right, where we are able to show and tell African stories, to own our own narratives and equip storytellers like yourself, people who are responsible and custodians of our culture with the ability to tell those stories. So we're so glad that you're here. Today's session is titled AI in African Storytelling, Create a Short Film from Idea to Screen, right? And before we dive into it, there's a few housekeeping things I need, every one of us to be aware of. This session will be recorded, so if you happen to step away or something happens and you're not able to stay through for the entire 2 hours, um, do not be afraid. We're going to have this ready for you to view, so don't worry about it. Please drop the conversation. Please stay muted when you are not called upon to speak. That way we can have a clean audio and a clean experience. But do feel free to text in the chat. So this is going to be a cooperative, collaborative session. And the goal is for you to be engaged, and our goal is to engage you, right? So please do that. Drop your name, questions, anything that comes up, okay? For today's conversation, the cameras are optional. However, they are highly encouraged. I think it's a beautiful thing when speakers and participants are able to see and engage with each other, and then we just get into a nice flow. But there is no pressure at all to have your cameras up. And before I get into the opportunity of introducing our speaker today, I just want to reiterate that what we do here, right, is dedicated to supporting and amplifying our emerging filmmakers, right? Our storytellers, our creative voices. We believe in you, particularly from Eastern Nigeria and across the African continent, and we deeply believe in the power of African stories told by African people. And tonight's workshop is going to be a reflection of that mission. All right. So without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you our facilitator for this evening, someone whose work speaks for himself and speaks for itself and more. His name is Mr. Obinna Okerekeocha. He's an artist, a creative director, a filmmaker, an AI creator with over a decade of experience across Nigeria's advertising, film, and media landscape. He has worked across television, film production, branding, communications. So many of you may know him as the pioneer creative director behind Red TV, the Pan-African lifestyle and entertainment platform powered by UBA, where he championed young filmmakers, right? So basically what he's doing right now, young filmmakers and creators across the continent. He has also served as the brand's program manager at the Tony Elumelu Foundation, contributing to major continental initiatives that have impacted thousands of African entrepreneurs. And today, he serves as the director of content at MoneyPoint Incorporated, where he leads storytelling and content strategy for one of Africa's leading financial platforms. And perhaps the most exciting for us, he's the founder of Naija AI Film Festival, the first film festival in Africa dedicated entirely to AI-driven storytelling and filmmaking. He is the perfect person to speak to us tonight, the perfect person to guide us through this conversation. So please, in the chats, please, with your emojis, give a warm welcome to Mr. Obinna Okerekeocha.
Yeah, thank you so much
Let's
for having
go.
me. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Woo!
much. Okay.
Let's go,
All
let's
right.
go.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. So it's great to be here. So we're just really gonna jump right into it. So this is in a nutshell everywhere I've walked. Doing B said it also, nothing else to see here. So um I think some fun fact, I like to put this in just as like a conversation starter. So John Cena is following me on X. Don't ask me why. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so it will either be the best thing that's ever happened to us or the worst thing that's ever happened to us. And this is a quote made by Stephen Hawking, the famous um so his if you for those of us who've seen Stephen Hawking, he had a degenerative disease known for a lot of innovations around science and technology. Um So essentially, what is AI? So what I'm going to do is sort of run through some information and take us through the history of AI. I mean, essentially how we got here before we now delve deep into what we discussing today. So artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence in machines, enabling them to perform tasks that typically require human cognition, such as problem solving, decision making, and learning. Perceptions, core capabilities of artificial intelligence, which is essentially mimics human behavior and human capabilities, perception, understanding, interpreting data, reasoning. We'll have to reason, think, learning. We have to essentially take on new information, and that essentially shapes behavior, learning, and creativity, which is essentially a core part of what it is that we're doing today. Yeah. So basically, so how did we get here? All this ado, all this noise about artificial intelligence taking our jobs, becoming, the new oil, becoming essentially what is driving economies now. And, where did it all start from? There's been an evolution of artificial intelligence. AI has evolved over the decade from theoretical concepts to real world applications. So let's look at the timeline. So early foundations. So basically, the early basic concepts around artificial intelligence date back to ancient Greece. Talos, a mechanical guardian that was built and crafted by somebody called Hephaestus to protect Crete, which was like a European city back then. And then Automata, which is essentially a mechanical knight created by Leonardo da Vinci in 1495, hinted at early AI ideas. Automata or mechanical self-operating machines have a rich history spanning from ancient mythology to Greek engineering to 18th century clockwork masterpieces. So the mathematical foundations in 1837, Charles Babbage designed the analytical engine, a mechanical general purpose computer. Then by 1843, Ada Lovelace suggested that machines could be programmed beyond calculation. So basically, this was somebody called Ada Lovelace saying that just beyond machines doing mechanical work like clocks, like the grandfather clock and so many other machines like that at that time, it could be
Is there anyone
programmed
who has
beyond calculation. It could be programmed beyond calculation. And in 1936, Alan Turing proposed the Turing machine, which essentially laid the foundation for modern computing. Now, the birth of AI essentially happened in 1950s and between 1950s and 1960s, the first AI program. So in 1950, Alan Turing introduced the first, these are all technologists and innovators. You can all read up about them. Alan Turing introduced the Turing test, a way to measure machine intelligence. And then by 1946, the term itself, artificial intelligence, was coined at the Dartmouth College by somebody called John McCarthy. And that's this picture you see on the right. McCarthy developed Lisp, LISP, the first AI programming language. And early AI programs, in 1951, Marvin Minsky built the first artificial neural network. By 1956, Newell and Simon created the logic theorist and AI capable of solving math problems as early as 1956. 1966, Eliza, the first chatbot, was developed to mimic human conversation. So whatever it is that we're seeing now didn't just start yesterday. The AI boom and challenges between the 1970s and the 1980s. The 1970s saw the rapid rise, you know, um, but essentially were limited by a lot of things, lack of computing power. And by the 1970s, they didn't have this sort of rapid in acceleration in terms of the chips and all the microprocessors needed to develop computers at the time. So it was slow. So lack of computing power, high cost of AI research, and limited real world applications. And then by AI winters, which is essentially a long period of inactivity, funding declined, governments and investors lost interest. The context of this is that at the time, between the 1960s and 70s, there's a lot of things happening in the world. You had wars in the Congo, you had the Korean Wars, you had all sorts of things. So you had, a lot of all these advanced countries trying to get a foothold of their foreign policy. So, and their policies abroad. So the focus was not really on technology, it was essentially keeping the world in one order. And I must say that in the spirit of what we're discussing in Africa, today is May 30th. In May 30th, 1967, for Igbo people and for those who are students of Nigerian history, you Major Chukwuma Odumegwu Ojukwu declared Biafra. So essentially that's sort of a window into which what was happening in the 1960s, around the world. It was a time of turmoil. Yeah. It's also, I think it should also add that, 1960s was also the year or the decade between the 1960s and 70s where a lot of African countries got their independence, after roughing it out with their colonial master. So moving on, AI resurgence between the 1920s and the 2000s, the early aughts. So 1997, something interesting started to happen. IBM developed a computer called Deep Blue that defeated Garry Kasparov, a chess grandmaster, proving AI could outperform humans in specific tasks. By 1999 to 2000s, AI benefited from faster computers, larger data sets, better algorithms, and then the rise of machine learning. Now, now, the AI revolution starts to happen from the 2010s. IBM's Watson was on a popular show in the UK called Jeopardy, and won against human competitors. Then deep learning boom. Geoffrey Hinton's team used neural networks to win the ImageNet competition. Then 2014, Google had developed its Google DeepMind, developed AlphaGo, beating human champions at a complex game of Go. AI-powered assistants. By 2016, we started to see AI-powered assistants like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistants became a thing. And by the 2020s, where we are today, AI becomes mainstream. Breakthroughs, neural language processing, GPTs, AI-powered generators, and the rest is history as we know it. So essentially, AI is now pretty much the frontier we're on right now. This is where we are right now. And the truth is, at the end of the day, AI is simply a tool. It's simply a tool, and it's a tool that helps you supercharge your creativity. What I've always said to people is that, especially creators who are essentially experimenting with AI, is that if you were not dedicated to your craft, whether you're a writer, you're a director, whatever it is that you do, if you don't understand the basics and the science of those things, like storytelling as a science, for instance, like if you're writing screenplay for a film, you know that the story should have a beginning, a middle, and an end, a first act, a second act, and a third act of the film. If you don't understand those basic things, AI is not suddenly going to make you an award-winning writer. It only supercharges what you already know. And what I tell people is that it is called artificial intelligence for a reason. Human beings are the real intelligence. It's a subset of our intelligence. And don't forget that anytime you're prompting, like you go to ChatGPT, for instance, it will tell you that, for instance, let's go to, where's my ChatGPT here? Because I have tons and tons of tabs. So if we go to the bottom, it will tell you that, let's see. It will tell you that at the bottom that ChatGPT can,
I'm not sure. Obinna, I'm not sure we can see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
I cannot see it.
I can't see your.
Yes, I can. We can see your screen.
Oh, interesting. Oh my God. Okay, something wrong with my
system. So basically, if you let me see if I can go to some of my past. Basically, yeah, if you see at the bottom of the screen, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes. That's the point I was trying to make. Now, these technologies are not fail-safe. They are subsets of human intelligence. So they are capable of making mistakes. That's the point I'm trying to make with that, with that statement. They can make mistakes. So at the end of the day, it's a tool. So whatever it is that you're doing, it's a tool. And then in application of that tool, we're going to be looking at how this tool can help us tell better stories as African filmmakers. And that's really our core focus today. So let me see. So basically, yeah. So I mean, everybody here has used ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, basically. So basically, how can it help you as a writer, for instance? So what I would always say to writers is that if you're going to write anything or you want to write anything, the original synopsis, I always say to people, to creators, or write a synopsis, be original, think about a story, and that story could be from your lived experience, shared experience, or just experience that you've garnered from all sorts of walks of in your life. Write a story, and then if you're writing that screenplay or putting together that synopsis, and then you probably get stuck, and I think that's a great place to introduce the AI. So from Gemini to Claude, I mean, for me, I discovered that Claude can help you build a lot of storytelling abilities, especially when you're doing world building. So it is great to always have your synopsis ready to go, and then you build something with it. Like let me show you. I started a bunch of things, projects, like just trying to imagine stuff. So um let me see if I can share some of the things I have built. Let me see, storyboard. Converting. No. Let me see. Guide. Let me see. There's a particular thing I built. Director sheet for 6-second pitch. Brand guidelines. This is it. Yeah. So I started something called the decolonization of the Black mind, which for me is really around so as Black people for a very long time, we've been sort of subjugated to this thing where we feel that, the Western civilization, Western way of doing things are superior to us because of, the adverse effects of colonialism. So basically, I started to put together story worlds and universes that would help me sort of execute what I want to do. So that's an example of how you can use the technology to build your world. So for today's class, like I said, it's going to be very, 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 very interactive. Now, what I want us to do is essentially I want us to share ideas. So basically for the experimentation, so how I typically start, like I think that when I'm just like the way you start a film, when you're making a real live action film, as a producer, you're looking at your actors, you're looking at your location, you're looking at, a bunch of things. Now, all these stuff are all can be replicated using AI. But then again, you have to have a plan. And then the plan starts from the script. What's the story you're trying to tell? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, members of the audience, I'm going to ask you somebody to paste in the chat a synopsis of a story that you want us to sort of bring to life, a short story, so it could be a synopsis of anything, something you've written, just paste it in the chat, and then I'll copy it, and we're going to build a storyboard, and then from there, we're going to build out something, and you see exactly the tools that I use, and then how you can actually use the same tools to bring your stories to life. So it's open season. Anybody who comes first, a short synopsis of a story that you've been working on, copy it and paste it in the chat group, and then another widow recounts to her unseen grandmother the impossible choice she made during the Nigerian, I love this, crossing into Afia attack markets to keep her family alive, surrendering to her eldest daughter to a marriage. So, fantastic. So let's copy that. I can copy that. Fantastic. So we have that story now. So what we can do is if we come to, let's say, uh, what do you want to title this? Okoye, what are we calling? What is the title of this short film? If you can just put the title in there. Uh, Afia Attack, fantastic, great. So basically, let's now go to Claude. So what we can do is start a new chart. Hi. So yeah, we're back at it. So, um, I have so one you can do. Okay, somebody's Ogundi. Okay, cool. Somebody said, okay, cool. We have one already, so let's just get going with that. So this is typically how I would start. So I have a synopsis. I hope you guys can see my screen. I have a synopsis for a short story, and then I'd love to hear. So I'll paste that, and then I'll just put that. I want you, you know, develop this into a, how should we do this now? Yeah, for the reason of the time that we have, into a 60-second short film. Incorporate. So in terms of prompting, right? Prompting is essentially natural language. Give as much information as you think is necessary for how you want the large language model, that is Claude, to essentially interpret what you're trying to to build. So the more information you provide, the more it's able to assimilate and then build. I'm sure some of us have done this before. Developers incorporate very compelling dialogue, and also authentic locations that reflect. So short film script, yeah, I have to be specific, or that reflect the time spoken of, or the time, reflect the time in this story. So very big, straightforward, and then we see it. What I also say is that, because I use Claude, I use Gemini, I use ChatGPT, and then you can experiment. You can do the same thing in ChatGPT. You can do the same thing in Gemini, and then whatever is more compelling for you, that's fine. So it's set up something for us. Let's see, exterior Oguta Lake, Eastern Nigeria, dusk, present day, golden light, bleeds. Like that, interesting. Mama, there's a seat on wooden stool, cut to. Okay, slow to back, runtime 6 seconds, script is okay. So what's important is that for us to understand how it's done, and then we can all experiment. So yeah, I hope we're here with our tools. We're connected to the internet, and this is recorded anyway, so we can always play back. So basically, the next step really is to sort of bring this to life visually. And what I would always suggest is that create a storyboard. It's just like, a cinematographer or a director will create a short list of exactly the sequential, essentially laying out the story in sequence. So you see all the shots, and the shots help you because sometimes depending on the script, some directors don't have to shoot sequentially, they shoot essentially with scenes and that kind of thing. But with this, you can actually get your story and then fit it into, let's say, so for the purpose of creating a storyboard, one of my go-to tools is Nano Banana. Nano Banana is Gemini's premium engine for creating images. ChatGPT has ChatGPT 2 now, but I prefer to use Nano Banana Pro because I think that it has such a dynamic range in terms of how it's able to interpret prompts, and also how it's able to edit images, So what we'll do is we have a 60-second script, which is essentially, you can keep prompting it until you get what you want, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we're just going to copy this entire thing. Yeah, let's copy that. So we would access, we can access, so the thing about Nano Banana is you can access Nano Banana easily. So basically, if you go to Gemini, this is Gemini, click this box and say create image. That immediately launches Nano Banana because it's the default tool, essentially. So I like to access Nano Banana for instance, in my Runway. Runway is so let's do some. So let's share. So there are several tools that you can use for video generation. So you can write this down. There is Kling. There is Dance, which is essentially China, it's made by Dreamina. It's probably the most powerful video generation engine right now. So there's Kling, there is Runway, and there is Kling, there's Runway, there's Google Veo. Google Veo is probably one of the most popular ones because it's tied to, there's a time when it was really on top because they started the generation generating audio with video. So you can access that through Gemini or something called Flow. So let me open Flow, Google Flow. Google Flow looks like this. Yeah, let's check my account. So basically, I probably generate your agents active. Okay, yeah, got it. So this is Google Flow, essentially, where you access Google Veo. So essentially, you click here and you see at the end, you can, essentially go to, if you're not generating, if you want to generate videos, you can select your aspect ratios. You can change this to Veo light, fast, quality, whatever you want. And then you select, and then essentially you have all the settings that you want. This is another video generation and image generation. And so there are things we would call wrappers. I'm sure you've heard of Hicksfield. So Hicksfield is a wrapper. So essentially, what's a wrapper? What's an AI wrapper? So an AI wrapper is essentially a model that has APIs of other, essentially other models. So basically, in Hicksfield, you can access Sit Dance, you can access Kling, you can access every other one. So basically, what they make you do is when you come into this environment, when you pay, you can generate your images within, generate whatever it is that you want within that UI, and everything is done there. So a lot of companies do this, like there's Free Pick that has now renamed their name to, I think, Magnifico or something, and there's Runway. Runway also provides you that opportunity. So basically, there's image generation here, and when you come to the image generation, you see Nano Banana, you see GP2 image, you see C Dance, you see everything right here, Reeve, Flux, and then when you go to video, C Dance, Kling, Sora 2, that's now been discontinued, View, and stuff like that. Now, it can be quite overwhelming because there are a lot. So what I'll say to you is, for me, I use Seed Dance, I use Kling, and sometimes I use Veo. So if you just keep it to, you can stick to Veo, create your images in Nano Banana, and then create your videos in Veo. And you can access, again, Google Veo. If you come to Gemini.com and you come here and you do create video, now essentially the video you'll be creating will be powered by Google Veo, essentially. Yeah, Google Veo Pro, Flash, and Light, same thing. If you go and you click create image, your images are powered by Nano Banana. I just want us to know that. So let's get back to now. We've copied our script that we created from our synopsis, and again, always remember, let your stories be original. As long as the source material is from you, don't form the lazy habit of going to chapter, oh, write me a story. No, that's not it. Have a synopsis, have an original story that you have prepped, and then you give it to the engine and give it to the model, and then it can help you tweak it or you know provide more ideas or blow it open or whatever it is. But the point is that the original idea should come from you. Okay, so what we want to do now is essentially to create a storyboard, bring this to life. So I'll be using Nano Banana, but I'll be using Nano Banana in another app called Dreamina Octo, which essentially is Dreamina's. So I'm a Dreamina creative partner. Yeah, I'm one of a few, at least one of them from Africa. So I have access. So I like to use it here because I'm able to essentially have a canvas and then have access to use my images, create a canvas, create characters, and then bring it all to life. So you can check this out. It's called Dreamina Octo. It's available now and it's paid. I think when you go to, I'm going to share a link. Let me just share a link now. So, and I'm just going to type it in so that you can just search for yourself. So Dreamina Octo. It's expensive, Dramina Oct is expensive, but what I'll say is if you can afford it, that's great. But if not, Google View is very affordable. You can pay in Naira. Okay, so we're just going to start a new project. New project. I'm just going to start a new project. Yeah, here. What's the name of our film again? It's called Afi Attack. Great, Afi Attack. So, okay, this is not what I want. All right, great. So we are here. So we're essentially going to create a storyboard. So we come, I mean, just like what we'll do is let's do something. So let's nano banana. So I'll create here and I'll create it there. But let's just stick to Octo. So basically, we're selecting Nano Banana Pro, and then we're setting an aspect ratio to let's make it a bit more cinematic, 21 by 9. So I assume that some of us understand aspect ratio. So 29 by 9, 16 by 9, 1 by 1. Those are essentially sizes, frame sizes. So let's do 21 by 9, give it a little bit more cinematic presence. So we can set the resolution, say 2K, and then let's do 4 examples of our storyboard. So we paste our story here, and then if we pasted our story there, that is the script that we copied from Claude, and then what we'll now do is put in bracket to give it a directive. So basically, make a comprehensive, or let's say, develop a comprehensive storyboard outlining all the action and dialogue uh dialogue show me interesting camera angles that move the story forward and in a sequential order. Put the scenes in boxes with coherence. So like I said, it's natural language. You can write this out. What's important is that you're able to communicate what you want it to do for you. Coherence. All right, so here we go. So 21 by 9. Don't forget to check your settings. It's always important because you can generate, and then because this is important because if you tell it to go, if you press send or you press go and you've not you have to do it again and it costs money. So please note this. This is so important because AI is not cheap. It's not cheap by the time you start to pay for credit. So 21 by 9. So we're doing four samples, 2K. Okay, go. So it's going to give us 4 storyboards. Pull this up here. Yeah. So Octo is pretty fast. It's pretty fast. And I must say that it depends sometimes. I think if, on Google View as well, on Gemini too is pretty fast if you're accessing Nano Banana Pro from Gemini. I think it's also fast, but Octo is really fast. So it's images. So while we wait, we will just wait. So let me know if this is if you're following, if this is all making sense, if yeah, I'm trying to see the no the okay, know this one too. Yeah, great. Okay. Indicate free tools. Okay, somebody has typed. Okay, thank you very much. Indicate free tools. So free tools. So the thing about free tools is that sometimes
Sir?
hello, go ahead. Somebody wanted to say something. Okay,
I
I thought
think
somebody
it
wanted
might
to
have
talk.
been
So,
a mistake. I think so. Yeah.
okay. All right. So the thing about it is that, for instance, Kling, when you sign up for Kling, you get some free credits, but by the time you do one or two generations, you have to pay. Sit down's the same thing. Runway, same thing. So, but for Google Flow, what I would advise is that I'm okay. I'm just gonna before we get back into this, let me go back to Flow, my Flow, and show something that I think would help. So if we go to trying to go to get AI credits. So this is essentially the pricing. So basically, this is essentially what it costs. It's a bit of a commitment, but if you can just, if depending on how seriously you want to take this, you can actually, this is essentially what you pay, and it's monthly to gain 2,500 credits. So what I tell people is that be very sure of what you want to use AI for, that kind of thing. You can test, with the free stuff, but when you're trying to do really serious stuff, you must count the cost, just to let you guys know. And I think this is the really affordable one. For Kling costs about $10. I pay in dollars. That's connected to a dollar card. Yeah. I'm a creative partner for Runway, so I have unlimited credits because I actually essentially help them to, with my feedback, develop their products and stuff. So let's get back to fun stuff. So where is Octo? So basically we have didn't make the list. Yeah, yeah, because Grok used to be free, but now it's paid for. I mean, you can use Grok as well. So, like I said, I think what's important is understanding the workflows. Tools don't really matter. What really matters is because all of them are really good now. Kling is really good with its physics, with how it represents, black people and things like that. And what I also see for us is when we are prompting, we have to be very intentional about stating that the character should be black or should be Nigerian. I think it's really important. Okay, um so basically we have a storyboard of our story, you know. So we have this first one, we have scene one, fading fade out, Ugutu like with present, flashback scene, the market, flashback, clay compound, Chisom did not cry, I crossed the Afia attack 3 times, and we see some air raid sirens, make a choice, grandma's hands enters frame, I did not leave, I left her body, and then we have a text, between 1960 and 1970, and estimated 1 million people. Then we have some data from information. That's interesting. Second storyboard. We have her looking into the horizon when we have half attack, then we have the voiceover. Essentially, different scenes. It is interpreted different scenes, differently, but essentially the core of the story is still there. So now what is important is that we've taken our synopsis, turned that into a short script, and now we have a storyboard. Now, what we can do is to just zoom out a bit to let's see how we can sort of expand this world a bit. So we can go into so what I'm trying to do is regenerate more storyboards, but let's see how we can expand the universe a bit more. Expand the universe. Add more scenes and frames. So let's do another 4. So we go. So it's running. So this is one of the reasons I like Octo, because like a canvas, I can reuse everything and move it around. I mean, for those who have used, Illustrator or Photoshop, it sort of helps. It's kind of like that, it gives you that sort of feel. So yeah, so like I said, you can do this with with Gemini. I mean, let's for the sake of, I mean, for what people are used to, let's copy this out. Sorry, let's go here. Okay, let's just wait for this to be done, and then we'll see what it's going to give us to see how it works. So I think what we can do is once we do this, we can also try another one. And then what I also teach you guys also is how you can create your own music. For instance, you're not a composer. I'll show you guys how you can navigate that with Suno. so that you have that complement of being able to tell your story, bring your story to life at storyboard, generate the story, and then, add some music to it, But what's also interesting is that um, Dream will give you some music it will generate music alongside because it's such a powerful tool, powerful engine. I think Kling does that now, and then Vue does that as well, But then again, the real editor, real filmmakers want to have their own sort of music and stuff like that. So I'll show you, how we can navigate that. So we have one that now has expanded our story. So basically, the story now is that, okay, so row one, golden light crosses through. Mama Ade sits back, 80 sits with her back to us. You want to know what tastes like? Name. It tastes like the thing you swallow. It tastes like the thing you swallow so your children can eat. Very powerful. I crossed the FI 3 times. So she starts to recount. And then younger days, watches our daughter, Chisom, braid her hair. Chisom did not cry when we told her that was the part that broke me. Yeah. So Abaga, air raid sirens, younger days, shows her two children, a third is bundled lies. Still, she just nodded like she already knew that what daughters were for. Not like she already knew what her daughters were for. She takes the only thing that she takes only the two who are breathing. Wow. She lost her pulse. Barely a whisper. I did not leave her. I left her body. There's a difference. The young man was so quite an interesting story sequence there. We have another one. So I'm going to ask, so which of these should we bring to life? So we have this where we see, this story sequence, or we have this low angle tracking shot, medium shot, this is face tense, but eyes that's in the foreground. Soldier 3 times. Soldiers looked at my face. They did not shoot. God was confused, maybe. This, or should we bring this to life? So maybe we could which of the storyboards should we bring to life? This one, that one, or that one. So let me see who's following. Which one should we bring to life? The fourth one. This one, the one that has this one I'm pointing to right now, guys. Is this the fourth one? Somebody said the fourth one. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Great. So
okay, I feel the second one, the one at the top of the one you are pointing.
Yes, this one, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is a democratic. This is not INEC. So let's have majority should carry the vote. Okay. So we have some. Somebody said the black and white one. Two people said this one, but my brother is saying this one. So who else is going for this one on top? Okay. You know what? We'll do the two. We're here for. So let's start with the popular one. Let's start with the popular one. Yeah. Okay. So basically now how this works is that, for instance, if you don't have Octo, for instance, you created this so what we'll just do is I'm going to, for the sake of just being able to, because I know more people use Vue. So let's sort of go through Gemini, for instance. Yeah, so basically this is Gemini. Create image. Okay, I need to move this guy. I need to move this guy up. Yeah. So create image. So I basically paste in that same story. Same story, add more scenes and frames, and then I press enter, submit. So basically, I'm going to create. Essentially, most of us are more familiar with this setup in Gemini. Even in chat, you can actually do this in ChatGPT as well. Essentially, it will give you a storyboard. So let's go to ChatGPT, for instance, because ChatGPT also has a very powerful image engine. So what I've always said is, or what I always say is, there isn't just one way to do one thing. There's several ways you can achieve the same result. So if we click here, create image, always change you know, the whatever it's you're asking it to do, you must change here. Whether it's thinking, deep research, you know, you must set the functionality and then paste the same thing essentially, and then start it to go. So let's see what Gemini is doing. I cannot generate a storyboard based on this script. Okay, too bad. Let's try it again. Sometimes this happens, you know. Sometimes that happens, you know. So okay, while this is happening, let's go back to Octo. Okay, that's different. Okay, great. So what we'll be doing now is to generate a video. So normally you can download this storyboard onto your system. I'm just going to download it here and then bring it into any other video generation model. So you can bring this into Kling, you can bring this into Runway, you can bring this whatever it is that you're using to Grok, whatever it is, and then animate it. So I'm downloading this, going down to my downloads. So basically now we now want to turn this into a video. So what we'll do is take this. Should we? Okay, there's several ways to do it. So it has now selected the storyboard. Now change my parameters. I want this to be 15 seconds, change to 1080. Omni reference. Yeah, let's do omni reference. What's also interesting about this is that, I mean, for those of us who also get to use Dreamina, Octo Dreamina, you can actually generate your characters. You can generate your character. So basically, if you come here and you say character, you can describe pretty much the character. So I can take the story. Initially, I think we had it in Claude. So if you look at how many characters we have, so we have an elderly widow, that's one character. Elderly widow recounts a Nigerian. So let's just take this and take it into Octo and say, yeah, so let's say elderly woman. Yeah. So basically, now if you're using Octo, you can go, like I said, to generate let's say characters. Afia characters. So yeah, it should be able to now create the character from that story. So what are we saying? A prompt Claude was sent to a Gemini Octo, yeah. Exactly. So it should create characters from the story. And then we can go on and create environments if we want, you know, essentially from the story. So while that is happening, so, but we seem to have some characters here already, you know, sort of defined. So let's go into the video. So basically what we want to see in the video is always good. So prompting is so important. So now let's jump right into it. So develop create a short film from this storyboard. Let the images fill the screen. So basically why I'm saying that is because I don't want to. So what can happen is that you can prompt this and then the action is happening in all the individual boxes. So you want to get the frames out of the box so that they fill the entire screen. They fill the entire frame. Yeah. Let the images fill the screen. And let the story be coherent with the dialogue mentioned in the storyboard. Make it compelling and authentic. All right, so this is set to 15 seconds. And then send this to 1080. Yeah, and then there we go. So basically, so the character design, like for instance, assuming we hadn't done a storyboard, you know, for instance, this has developed characters for us. So this is like a character design from, is able to create an old woman from this story. Yeah, and you can go granular where you are actually now developing the characters one by one. So that's an example of how you can actually develop your characters, you know. Then you can go a step further. Um, mm, um, okay, so video is coming along real quick. So let's check on, we know we had set the thing to, so finally, Gemini, after lying to us, eventually gave us something. So it's essentially the same sort of story sequence because that's essentially what the script was. So it's given to us. Let's check ChatGPT, and then you can bring this. So what we'll do is we'll download this. I think the only thing that is quite annoying is that it comes with the Gemini symbol. If you generate in Gemini, it comes with the Gemini symbol. I know that can be annoying, but hey. So let's check GPT. Yeah, so wow. GPT image gave us something really interesting. Really, really, really detailed storyboard. Okay, we'll download this. Yeah. So we have yeah, we have that. And then we have this from GPT image. It's quite interesting. Okay, so let's go back to Octo. It's not there yet. Still coming. It's doing all the heavy lifting. So who is Dreamina is from Nano Banana. Dreamina is not from Nano Banana. So Dreamina is not from that. Yeah, Dreamina is essentially a standalone model, it's Chinese, and then but you can access Nano Banana in Dreamina as an image generation, as part of the image generation engine. You can also access, so I have Runway here. Let me open Runway. You can actually access Nano Banana as well in Runway. So let's do this. So let's take the same storyboard. This is Runway. And let me just clear this so you can see. Sorry, so you see Nano Banana Pro, there are several other GPT image, Dream, Nano Banana, and I'll now put my prompt, which is essentially, so I'll take the exact prompt I use that in Octo. Okay, it's telling me that, okay, this content may violate our community guidelines. This can happen, so let's sort of modify our prompts. Let's see what might be the issue. Let me see, we use the storyboard. Exit that road. Because sometimes it happens. There's sometimes when you can run into situations where the thing doesn't give you exactly what you want. So sometimes it could be changing a keyword, changing a particular word or something that doesn't quite work out. Let's see, what could be the issue? Okay, you know what? Let's try this and see whether this give us any issues. Okay, if it's saying the prompt, it doesn't say, okay, the source material. Okay, let's tweak this a bit. Sometimes, you know, this is part of the learning curve. Sometimes you have to tweak things to get what you want, you know, depending on the story you want to tell. So I've removed something from my prompt. Let us see if it will generate. Can delete that. And then, so what we can also do is let us try and also bring this to life as well. So I'll just copy the, okay, let's just put, so video, change parameters. Yeah. 15, 1080. Turn this storyboard to a short film. Follow the story sequence. Yeah, let's see let's see what's gonna happen. So let's go. Yeah, so this is where it's cooking here. Yeah, so so what we can do, let's go to Gemini. So basically, let's see if we can generate something here. So create video. Yeah, start new chat. Now let's bring in upload files, bring in that storyboard that we created here. And when we have that, now this is using Gemini. This is using Google VO in Gemini. So basically, Flash, let's change this to Pro, 3.1 Pro. Okay, this is fine. This is okay. So now turn this storyboard. I think that VO only gives you 10 seconds. So let's just push the limits of that. Turn this storyboard into a short film. Keep the story sequence. So let's go. And then wait for that. Octo, still going, still going. So yeah, sometimes you need to have a lot of patience when it comes to AI filmmaking, especially because a lot of things, number one, it depends on how you're accessing your model. Sometimes if you are using it through a wrapper, like for instance, if you're using so yeah, I was going to show us something. So we're going to let's copy out the storyboard from here. Here, this is storyboard, and then go to runway. Runway, I see sometimes can be quite slow, but Nano Banana, this is Nano Banana in runway. So I put the information there. Let's reduce it to 1 so we can get quickly to where we want to be, 2K, and then generate. So it should generate a storyboard. This is runway so that we can see that this is happening in runway. Yeah. So hopefully one should click and then we'll see something interesting. Let's see. Okay. I can't make this video now because it seems to show minus in dangerous compromise situation. So sometimes, depending on this kind of story that you want to tell, yeah, somebody said, can you use a storyboard generate from AI to create a short film in a different AI? Or it has to be no, it doesn't have. So very good question. It doesn't have to be this, you can, like I said, any video generation model can generate the video from the storyboard. Just to put that out there as well. It doesn't have to be as long as the model can generate images, you can generate a storyboard, but you have to tell it exactly what you want it to do in the prompt. You can take that same storyboard you generated from that model and bring it into any video model and still generate. So that's I hope Ulua Tofumi, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Because the question was, can you use the storyboard generated from one AI to create in a short film in a different way? Yes, you can. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same. So because of a lot of restrictions, View is telling us I can't make this video that seems to show minors in dangerous, compromised situation, which makes sense. So I am guessing that may be the problem we're having. So that is the challenge. So what we'll do is that's probably why it's not allowed, it's not going. So what we'll do is we'll play an intuition. We'll take the text, and then rather than, because of the images created for us, where we will now feed because it's not going to work because of the images. But I think what's important from this exercise is that this is how you can generate a storyboard. Yeah, I think that's very clear. So what we'll now do is I will now take the text and do what I call, because in prompting you to create for video generation, you can do image to video and you can do text to video. And then with Seedance, which is probably the most powerful, you can do omni references. You can have so many references. You can add characters, you can have multiple images and bring it into your text, your prompting. So basically, we're now going to take. So what I'm going to do now is the story we created from Gemini. Remember, we put our original synopsis into Gemini and created a short script. I'll now take that script and put it straight into so we'll take out develop a storyboard and all that, straight into Seedance, and let's see if we can generate a video. Yeah, I think this may work. So yeah, so here we go. That's generating. What we can do also is to try another one. Let's see, variations, because anytime it generates, it's usually different. The sequences are different, the story is the same, but let's just do that and see what it's going to give us. So I hope we're following. I hope this is also making sense. It's a bit of a learning, but I think that what's important is that you follow the, sequences of, so you have to think like a storyteller or a filmmaker. What's important is your story, you draw your synopsis, and then you can write your script, or if you write screenplay, fantastic, And I think what is also important is that this is a tool that helps you in your storytelling process. Like if you want to become an AI filmmaker, that's a completely different, that's something else where you now have to sort of know you're going to invest a lot of money, for AI credits, telling stories, where you now have to sort of, prompt your wide shots, prompt your close-up shots, that kind of thing. But what this helps you do, what this technology can help you do is, if you're looking to, what they call a sizzle reel. From you have a spec script and you're trying to, look for investors who will invest in your film, your African movie. You can actually do a sample of it, like a 1 minute or a 60-second of it, just to show people what that world looks like. You understand what I'm saying? So these are some of the ideas, that some of the way you can use AI as a tool to help you raise money or to help you explain or expand, on an idea that you have, that kind of thing. Because that's what a lot of people are doing. I can tell you that it's such a big thing now because a lot of Hollywood studios are now hiring AI artists from different parts of the world who know how to use the technology to create, visual concepts. And then those visual content, that's how they now develop film. So you can test a lot of things, test worlds, test, costumes, test a lot of things before you actually go out in the real world to make it. So you're quicker. Like I give you an example, like we now even have AI work that is now mainstream, where a lot of people, like for instance, House of David, which is an Amazon original, the show has about 60% of it made with AI. You can check this out. It's called House of David. It's on Amazon. You can check that out, And then I'm sure we read about what's his name now? Ben Affleck, who had created this company. He trained models, trained his own training data, and created an AI company. And that AI company was trained on its own data. And then they were using that to do a lot of, make their own content. And then Netflix buys it. And then Netflix is now using that to create its own, in-house production. So that's essentially ways through which we can actually, make things happen. Okay, so while we're doing that, let's take the second story that everybody seemed to like. Ogun, the god of technology, pays a tech guy a visit and things unravel. Fantastic. Okay, so let's take that while this is ongoing and let's see if we can expand that universe. So, turn this, expand this into a 15-second micro film or microdrama for, the popular lingua franca with interesting dialogue. And a bit of action. So, okay, look, yeah, I think, okay, you know what? I think our Biafran story is really somber. Like, it's giving us grief. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna see if I can edit some stuff in this. Let me see, a little man. Just anything that is a bit shocking in terms of Biafran lines through 3 times, attack 3 times. Across the attack 3 times, the corner, I speak quietly, and the old man, young and this stands watching the elders, but about darkness. Air raid sirens. Okay, let's change bodies to people running. Because these are sometimes it can be like red flags. So anything that has to do with extreme violence, an infant wrapped, okay, in Ankara. What should I say? Okay, let's say a bundle. Let's remove baby. Lies beside her. Ankara. She looks at it, she stands, she takes the only two who are breathing, silence, footsteps. Mama, there's the faces of the water, young woman's hand, which is into frame. Where's okay. I think usually anything around children or infants is really quite sensitive. So I'm going to edit. I'm trying to edit, going through to edit. So sometimes these are some of the the challenges we face as sometimes you have to sort of censor what you put out. Okay, let's try this. I've moved some things, so I'm just gonna try one more time. It's gonna be somewhere here. Okay, cool. That's it on the side. Okay, so a new story. Yeah. Okay. Fintech, blue monitor glowing, empty energy drink cans, Tunde UD noise cancelling headphones, a figure like a doorway, Ogun ageless, in raffia, iron chains, one lever, voice. You have been calling my name all night, Tunde. I didn't. Ogun steps forward, examine the dead servers. Every time a man crosses a match, he drags. Not your code. Okay. This is quite an interesting story. Doesn't seem to have anything crazy. So let's do that. Let's copy the script, bring it into so Runway was doing our okay, so yeah, I guess our Biafra story. Sorry, our Biafra story is a bit too. So basically, I think it's just to note that sometimes because of all of the backlash around things like violations around human people and things like that. Just being sensitive. Now, a lot of all these companies are quite sensitive around the kind of things that you can generate. Just to note. So, and we have to also look at ethical use of AI. So basically, let's generate a storyboard from a new story. So Nano Banana, let's set it to 21:9. Throw that in there. Yeah, so let's do 21:9, do 2K, let's do 4. So again, develop a comprehensive storyboard. Develop a storyboard of this script. Follow the story sequentially. Yeah. Give interesting shorts that advance the story. All right, so let's create that. Okay, so storyboards are coming. So they will be here. Let's move them down here. Okay, so again, with AI generation and filmmaking, it requires a certain level of patience, especially when you're trying to build something methodically, you have to be, you have to really be patient and, don't rush the process, just like traditional filmmaking where everything takes time, you're writing your script, it takes time, you're putting together a crew, it takes time. Okay, so this is our storyboard. Okay, I don't see any dialogue. Yeah, let's try it again to see more dialogue. So once again, we have from the script we're able to create, we have some. So did this work? Did it work? So it didn't work. All our attempts to to make this happen didn't work. We're gonna try again. Feeding Guta Lake, elderly woman. So let's remove every true war lines. Husband speaks, she's home, do not cry. Yeah, but about that area, the area, people running back to the car, so it looks like seeing this is fair. Okay, I see this might be the problem. Let's just remove this title card. Let's just remove this title card. Fade to black and try one more time. Left har. What do you feel? Footsteps, silence, cut. Don't worry what speaks quietly to. I feel that. All right, cool. So let's try again. We're not gonna give up. I don't give up. So we must bring the story to life one way or the other. So it should be somewhere. Yeah, there. Okay, so yeah, so we've done this now with dialogue. So great. So let's pick this one. This one looks interesting. In text steps, exhausted work, type in blah, 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 flickers, then yeah, then this is Ogun. Ogun is giving us a very modern take on Ogun, which is quite interesting. So okay, let's bring this to life. So let's video, same thing, 15 seconds, 1080. And then we can do omni reference, bring this story. That's right. Turn this storyboard into a short thriller. Keep the dialogue authentic. Let the images fill the frame. Make it cinematic. Okay, so 15 seconds. Let's do 21 by 9, 1080. Let's go for it. So that will develop. Let's see if we got any joy from this guy. Okay, it's still going. Fingers crossed that it will finally. Another thing you can do is another trick you can do also is that when you are generating your stories sometimes in Claude, whatever model you're using, you can also tell it that you are going to be generating the video in VO or Kling or whatever, and then it sort of help you navigate that part and provide you a prompt that will work in any of those models. That's something there's something to note as well. Okay, this is going quick. Let's see. Yeah, please. Yeah, AI storytelling is and regulation is something to talk about. We can't tell our stories as we feel it, but do we have to say? But what do you have to say? Yeah. So the truth about it is that I think at the end of the day, I think what is important is telling the story. Because the truth about it is that the technology has its regulations. It has, because there's a lot of backlash, they're trying to sort of make sure that they can do business. Because at the end of the day, this is a capitalist, these are capitalist companies that want to make money. So they also don't want a situation where they have a lot of heat. So they are trying to, and it's good because I believe in AI for good and well regulated, because a lot of people this thing is getting out of hand with people. Like, for instance, you cannot upload a face, somebody else's face just from the internet. It's going to block you from doing that. So, but I think what is important is that there are so many ways to tell your story. Like, for instance, you could do a storyboard, like we've done a storyboard, take your frames, bring it into something like into something like Adobe, say Premiere or CapCut, and then what's it called? Animate the frames. You know what I mean by that is like do the Ken Burns effect, that kind of thing, because it all depends on what your subject matter is. Sometimes you get lucky. Like I've done some stuff where that some things that are interesting, edgy, but what's important is that you are able to get the thing to tell the story that you want to tell. Can we prompt AI when generating our story to optimize it for use on AI video model that won't violate it? And well, the thing is, it depends. So you have to look at things like So for instance, anything that has to do with death, minors, anything that has to do with anything that has to do with death and minors, anything that has to do with, unaliving in any form, you just have to avoid, because by the day it gets stricter and 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 stricter. So these are the issues, you know. So this didn't work. Our story didn't work. Our You can try and generate story frame by frame. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that if you have time, you can do that. That means that essentially you have to prompt for each frame. You can do that as well. You can do that as well. And then you stitch the whole thing together. What we can do also is we can take this and then try to put it into, because I think the whole fun of it is when we see it come together in one generation. So let's well, I mean, it depends. So what I'll say is, what you need to do is, what you can do is to try to um different models. You don't have to use just one, and that's why you have to have. It's good to have like a variety. So what we can do is let's do something. Let's sort of expand this. For instance, let's try view. So let's the new story we created. So basically, we'll download our storyboard. But meanwhile, let me try this and see to go. This is yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let us download the storyboard. Okay. Bring that into let's try Kling, for instance. Kling, and then upload. Check, guys, visit. So we're going to try another. Okay. So all right, so yeah, that might work. But that takes a lot of time. If you have time, sure, you can. So let's do 10 to 15 seconds and just say turn this storyboard into a short film. Make the images fill the frame. Great, so let's do that. So set that to generate, and let's go back to Octo. Okay, here we are. So
what?
You have been calling my name all night. Your offering is.
So essentially that worked. Now, what's interesting is that what you can now do is a great way to continue is you can, with the storyboard, you can tell it to only So what it did was try to compress everything with the same time within the time that you have. So what you can do is if you set this up, you can tell it to only animate the first 2 frames, and then you can continue with the other one. So you can have a coherent story. Now, what happens is that you can now stitch your videos together once you do that one by one. So basically, you can take you can ask it to do the first 2 frames or the first 3 frames, and then you continue. That way, you're able to expand the time so that you can get through what you want to, the story you're trying to tell. So basically, I was able to do the storyboard. Yeah.
What? You have been calling my name all night. Your offering is.
So yeah. So that's essentially, you can experiment as much as you want, So we have another one that's coming up. Yeah. So that's, to a nutshell, that's essentially how, you can take a story idea, turn it into a storyboard, and then take the storyboard when you built the storyboard, and then bring it into whatever desired video generation engine of your choice. Kling. This is seed dance in Dreamina Octo. This is seed dance that we're using, or and there's Kling, there's View. So what we can do now is let's go to Gemini, and then let's try and bring that to life in Gemini. So let's say upload files. I think we downloaded, yeah, this. So same prompt, turn this storyboard into a short film. Keep the story sequence. So yeah, let's see what's going to give us. So that's happening. Let's see. This is almost done. Yeah. So so if you have the patience, you can do prompt each image, but that'll take some time, especially when you've done the storyboard. That might take you some time, but but what's important is that you're able to see your entire universe at a glance. I think that's the joy of it, and then you can tweak as much as you want. What I also say is that you can see that they are sounding American. So what I'll do is I will sound Tunde line. So when you go to where the dialogue is, you can say in comma here, in brackets rather. Let's go back to the very first. I'll explain to you what I'm trying to, because sometimes they sound American, but there's a way you can make them sound Nigerian. Is by essentially tweaking your prompt. So you go to where the dialogue is, voice like grinding gears, Ogun. Yeah, me call him. So Ogun, Nigerian accent. So let's add that to that. And then Tunde in a Nigerian accent. And then, I mean, it should know it, but it's good to always just in a Nigerian accent. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's just do another generation. It should bubble up here. Where is it? 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 Okay, it's right there. Okay, so let's watch this new one. It created a new one, so let's watch.
You have been calling my name all night.
What? I didn't.
Every time a man curses a machine and does not know why it broke, he is praying to me. Your offering is.
I don't. What offering?
Palm wine before midnight, or I visit the data center next.
Lovely. So we have a microfilm. So yeah,
You have been calling my name all night.
What? I didn't.
Every time a man curses a machine and does not know why it broke, he is praying to me. Your offering is.
I don't. What offering?
Palm wine before midnight, or I visit the data center next.
so what's interesting is that you can take this, for instance, you can take, like in Octo, for instance, you can take a photograph of this frame capture, and then let's just, okay, let me do an example. Do a frame capture. It's not lagging. It's not lagging. It's I think it's the playback. That's why it's playing very smoothly.
You have been calling my name all night.
What? I didn't.
Every time a man curses a machine and does not know why it broke, he is praying to me. Your offering is.
So for me, I hope that's clear. It's not lagging.
Palm
It's,
wine
I guess
before
it's the,
midnight,
I'm
or I visit the
playing,
data center
depending on how
next.
fast your internet is. So it's actually playing very smoothly. Did you hear me? Go for me. I'm playing it again.
You have been calling my name all night.
What? I didn't.
Every time a man curses a machine and does not know why it broke, he is praying to me. Your offering is.
I don't. What offering?
Palm wine before midnight, or I visit the data center next.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much clear, and then you can experiment with this, there's no limit, you can experiment with this and then push your own storytelling, push your own boundaries, based on, whatever story that you want to tell. Let me check on the clean one. Okay, still this will take some time. Okay, so let me jump into something that I think will interest a lot of people. So this is and then I'll probably go to my editor and see what I can do. So basically, this is Suno. So who actually has used Suno before? Who knows what Suno is? Who knows what Suno is? I'm sure there are a bunch of guys who are
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Obinna. I just wanted to just spotlight that we are at the last 30 minutes of the session.
Oh my God,
but so many people are texting in the chat. I'm sure the questions can come in, but this is great content. But please carry on, of course.
All right, cool.
We'll
Thanks,
that,
Libby.
yes.
Thanks. So guys, I'm just going to quickly run through. So basically, Suno is a really powerful music generation engine where you can type, essentially, I have Suno. Yeah, I have Suno. Suno is amazing, fantastic. So basically, you can create film scores and stuff like that. So let's just quickly do something. Let's just say lyrics. I don't know what to do lyrics, but let's just say music for the sake of, creating a score, so style. So basically, what styles do we want to create? Let's just say create something that's interesting. Let's say orchestral orchestral uh orchestral cinematic orchestral I'm trying to get creative. Okay, let's say orchestral cinematic music meets Afrobeat. Meets Afrobeat with a hint of Amapiano. Bit crazy, eh? So let's see. So more options, exclude styles, no red, it's instrumental. So more options, lyrics mode, song title. Let's just say the tech visit. Yeah. Still well, lyrics mode. No lyrics. Let's say in bracket instrumental. Yeah. So we can take that, copy that, and then so essentially, when you log into, it gives you some free credits, and then when you exhaust your credits, you now have to pay. I think it costs about, I'll check that in a minute. Let's say upgrade. It costs about $8 a month, to use Suno, and that's essentially what it does. I mean, that's how much it takes. So let's create. And that's all. Yeah, you put all of that in these boxes here where you have to define what you want, and then it starts to create the music for you. I would have put lyrics, but I probably would maybe do that in another, demonstration. So it's creating that. So while it's doing that, we set up something here as a third option in terms of the execution of our script. So let's watch.
You have been calling my name all night. What? Every time a man curses a machine and does not know why it broke, he's praying to me. Your code is not broken, Tunden. Your offering is.
What offering?
Palm wine before midnight, or I visit the data center next.
Yeah. So good. We've got some really short microfilm going, and we can write episodes and then we can continue that. So we can do that on our own. So I think that our music is ready. I think it's just a few seconds, and then we'll click that and then we get going. But I hope, like I said, but I hope this all made sense. I hope this all made sense in the short time that we've had to do this. And I hope that this has made some sense to anybody who's joined in, so you have at least a workflow process to help you get to the story that you want to tell. So I hope this was helpful in some way or form.
100%. I see the chats coming in. It's like, yes, thank you.
All right, so this is our hybrid of orchestral cinematic music meets Afrobeat with a hint of a piano. So imagine this with our tech film and
So, quick question. I can't seem to hear it on my end. I hear like bits and pieces coming in.
oh,
I don't know if anybody else. Maybe it's just
can you hear? Because this is quite wonky.
No,
Guys,
No, I can't hear you as well. I can't hear the music as well.
that's terrible. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the music. Since you guys saw the steps, how I got there, so I'll download the music and then I'm going to share it now. I don't know how. Okay, I'll share the music anyway. I'm going to share it anyway. So yeah, so sad. I thought you guys could hear. Download. So it does. It downloads. It gives you two options. So what I'm going to try and do is, if I can send files through here, can I screenshot? Yeah, I can send files. Your computer, yes. So what I'll do is I will so do maybe I'm rounding up. What I'll do is so while everybody's getting their questions ready, I will download the 3 versions of our demonstration for today, storyboard, all, and I'm going to just guys, you guys can download from I'm going to send it to the chat box because I see I can share stuff there. So you guys can download from your, and so maybe if you're not using if you're using your phone, you can probably transit to your laptop. I'm going to share stuff here. I'm going to share the assets here. Okay, so here we go. Files, my computer. All right, cool. Storyboard for tech microfilm. That's one. confirm when it comes. Can you guys see it in the chat box?
Yes, I received the storyboard for the tech microfilm.
Okay, great,
I can see it.
fantastic. Great.
Uh,
So I'm sending first gen micro film. So I'm sending the first video. Great. So I'm sending the next two videos. And then I'm sending the Suno creations,
How are
the
you
song.
sending the video, please?
The same
Are you
way. So
sending
if you go to if you go to the chat box, just go to the chat box on your. I advise I use a computer so that it's easy for you to see it. I don't know how it's going to look like on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on my computer, but on the chat box, I'm just saying first gen microfilm, the other two. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
but
being sent as a link or something.
no, I'm sending the actual files so you can actually download them. So those things you see, hover over them, you can see a download link. So they're actually the files. Are you done that?
No, it's saying this content can be viewed here.
Try and can anybody download the files I'm sending?
So just to drop in, yes, I can
Yes,
download it. I
I
think it
can
might work
download.
better on a laptop, but
Yes,
yes, it's coming
exactly.
through.
You said,
Excuse me, I'm using a laptop. I'm using a laptop and it's saying this content cannot be viewed here.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
using a
same
laptop.
thing happening for me. I'm using
That's strange.
Okay.
If I can prefer a solution, okay.
Okay, you know what? I know what to do. I'm going to put it on a Google Drive now and share the drive and open it up so that everybody can get. Let me do that.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Sure. This is why I'm here. Okay. So just give me a minute. So, Dumabi, you can
Yes.
go ahead and do your thing while
100%. First of all, could I just hear in the chats how people feel about this session? What has been great? How have you guys felt? I personally feel so full. This is probably more than I expected. So thank you so much, Mr. Obinna. Uh, if we are gonna do a quick Q&A, so at most probably about 3 questions. So if you have any burning questions from everything that you've seen today or things that you were thinking about way before, um, could you please put them in the chat? First 3 questions, and we will go through thoughts about the workflow, thoughts about the tools, thoughts about your own creative process. Please put it in the chat, and then we'll walk through it. And also, I saw Cynthia, you mentioned you joined late. This is a recorded session, so you have the opportunity to watch it play back. But yes, any questions?
include a document with the AI history. Oh, okay. The presentation. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I hear you. Let me see. Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll do that for you. 1 second. Where is that guy? Okay. Found it. PDF.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, please ask me.
Mr. Obinna, please. Every thought that is on your mind.
Let me know. So interestingly, I have what I can also say is that I have a almost 700 member AI community, the Naija AI film community, and we're about 700 of us from across the world, different parts of Africa, and we do challenges. We discuss every time. We have hangouts, virtual hangouts, where we talk about stuff. So I'm going to put the link to the WhatsApp group, and you can check us out. I'll also put our website as well. We're currently submissions are ongoing. So if you're an AI filmmaker, you want to submit your film, you can do that. We have our second festival happening in September, the 19th and the 20th at the Alliance Francais. So you can check that out as well. Okay, so where is this now?
All right, we have two questions in the chat. I also have a question, so I'm going to start with Oluchi's question, which,
Sure.
Oluchi, you're all of us. She says, I want access to unlimited credits. How do I be Mr. Obinna when I grow up? So
Okay, I'm going to answer that
please.
question. I'm going to answer that question. I'm trying to get you guys all the stuff that we did today. Sorry, just 1 second, and then we will, anyone with the link. Copy, editor, copy, done. All right. Okay, here we go, guys. So yeah, everything is in there. Okay, so unlimited credits. So to be honest, it's a bit of a long journey. So to get unlimited credits, you have to become what they call a CPP. A CPP is a creative partner, creative product partner, essentially. So what that means is that you have to be an expert, and then you should be able to provide certain high levels of feedback concerning a product. I'm a creative partner with Runway, and I'm a creative partner with Dreaming Octo. In fact, when Octo
Sorry, if I can just interview. Could you please mute your microphone if you are online? I know sometimes we do get distracted. Okay, there we go. All right, please continue.
Yeah, so when Dreamina released Octo, I remember they reached out to a few. In fact, it was so serious that they didn't have any in Africa, they didn't have any anybody to test. Remember when they gave me access because I'd been using Dreamina, and then I had to access it with a VPN because it wasn't even available here. This was like sometime in January, So I had access to Octo, and I did. I'll share a bunch of things, just some quick things I did that's on Instagram and stuff like that. So I think the key thing to it is really just about. I know that now they now do competitions where one of the things that you win is actually to become a creative partner. In the case of Runway, I think I hosted the first Runway meetup in the second one in Africa last year. This was in October. So, through the interacting with Runway, so I'm part of their creative partner program, involved in. So I think the long and short of the story is you have to sort of put yourself out there, and you have to really work hard to get noticed, Yeah. It's like for me, I give an example. I've been using AI now this is my 5th year. When it all started, it was Midjourney. And I remember the first, because I come from a design background, and I've been an art director in several agencies. I've worked in film and television, so I'm always embracing technology. I grew up using computers. My dad used to work in advertising, so as early as 1990, I've been using Apple computers. So I've always anything that has to do with technology, I'm always jumping in. So when I discovered Midjourney, I was like, what is this thing people are doing, and how are they doing it? And then I got involved with Discord, and then I jumped head and soul into Midjourney. I was creating images. I was so obsessed with it that I've done over 1,000 images in Midjourney alone. If I go to Midjourney and look at but let me just do Midjourney. Show you guys my Midjourney, what I've done in Midjourney over the last couple of years, it's crazy. It's completely nuts. So Moses, please talk about the opportunities in this. Yeah, so opportunity in this field. Now, it's very straightforward. So imagine people are trying to create presentations, and for instance, they feel, PowerPoint presentations are boring. Can I bring my presentation to life? So excuse me.
Yes.
So excuse me. If you notice, a lot of people who tell stories essentially these days on Instagram, they use a lot of AI storytelling. So when they're doing flashbacks and things like that. So you could essentially become somebody who helps people with presentation. So imagine being able to, I give you an example. If you imagine a graphic designer or somebody had infographics and they had to make it look more interesting, you could turn those infographics into video. Excuse me. All you need to do is just import that into Veo or whatever it is, or Kling, and then animate that. That becomes something, and of a service you can offer to somebody and say, look, I can really make your presentation look cool. You could also do something called pre-visualization, where somebody has a story, maybe a scriptwriter, a producer, they have the story that they want to bring to life. Like, for instance, I've done that for some people, where people have this big idea and they're trying to raise money for it, and they do something called a sizzle reel. So you could become a pre-visualizer for people, where you can take that story and bring it to life with AI, and then you get paid. Now, the elections are coming. People are going to do, politicians are going to want to do manifestos and campaign videos. You could do that. So imagine a politician who is telling you that he's going to make Nigeria look like, a magnificent tech city and all these wonderful things. You can prompt that to life, because there is no limit to your imagination if you get paid for that. Yeah. So final. Yeah, somebody's talking about, yeah. So final draft. Yeah, go
Sorry to
ahead.
interrupt. I just had
Go
one
ahead.
question that came up earlier, but I think this might be more for people who want to create and post on YouTube. So it's from
Oh,
Cynthia,
okay.
and she said, I've
Okay.
been creating some AI short films, but I feel slightly discouraged about the new YouTube non-payment policy for AI content. Any advice, please? How do I navigate sharing these films and earning from them? Thank you.
Okay, so I completely understand it, and it's really critical. It's really sad, because it's really interesting, because you would think that the people who are actually at the forefront of creating these AI tools, they're breaking a lot of restrictions. I know that I know that when they release a certain rule around, because you can use Veo, for instance, because a Veo is trained on trillions and trillions of data around trillions and trillions of data, from YouTube. That's how they've been able to train Veo and make Veo look so good. But I know that for the most part, you can use Google Veo, the video that you use, but what they say is that the audio should be still human audio. So what you can do is to do lip sync, or to essentially, you can do a narrator style content where the video is playing, or the video serves as B-roll or as an explainer for what the text is saying, and then you use your human voice. So is it like a cheat code? So if you generate your videos, take away the audio and then record with your own voice and place that in edit, that video will be monetized. That's what I can say to you, because for them, they even though, AI is really mainstream, it's becoming mainstream these days, and it's essentially how people people find that they can create content. Google is still, through YouTube, it's still trying to maintain the human touch, the human aspect of this content creation. Because at the end of the day, a lot of, those of us who are really into it face a lot of backlash, because they feel that the human, the human innovation is getting waned. But the truth about it is that it still takes some level of ingenuity to create all these things in terms of prompting, in terms of thinking about it. So I understand, and especially, when we look at YouTube, even the monies that we even regular content creators, there's something called CPM, and you have to meet certain parameters before you can actually even be a part of it. Like, for instance, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time to be monetized, to be part of the YouTube partner program. So what I would say is, one secret I give to people is that if you're trying to set up on YouTube, find a partner who lives in Canada or the US or Europe. Let them open up their YouTube channel from there, and then you create your content and then you upload. Because what happens is that the monies paid out from the pool of advertising. There are bigger advertisers in the US, Europe, and then in Nigeria. There's a scramble for, and again, the algorithm prioritizes financial content, anything that provides financial information, in things around financial literacy, those are the things that are prioritized, and then other things are sort of below football, all that stuff. So it's tough. And again, I know some people also use TikTok, but then again, TikTok is not, TikTok is essentially not monetized in Nigeria at the time. Right now, that may change. So these are some of the issues that we have, that we face. But what I'll say is, we now have instances where some people are now building streaming platforms for content creation. So what I'll say is, please keep creating, don't stop. You never can tell. So if you have an idea and you have the time and you know you have the resources to focus on building something, build something interesting. With AI, you never can tell where that can go. So I was wanting to show you guys something. This is my mid journey. These are the things I have just from my imagination, just sitting down over the last 4 years and just creating. You have an idea. For me, prompting is my bread and butter for me. Like, this is how I live my life. Like, it's every day. What have I prompted today? What have I prompted today? What stories am I telling? I have to keep going and I have to keep going and I have to keep. So, before you know what's happening, you've created this unstoppable, this universe of things, and that's how you push. Like, for me, not everybody has the same drive. But my point is, what are the limits of your imagination? So let me share some stuff. There's a bunch of things that I did that went really viral. And I'm just going to play a bunch of that for us. It's just like parting notes. So, like I said, I started something called the decolonization of the black mind, and I'm going to play some stuff for us. So this consequences. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear. I think I heard that. Yes.
Yes, I can.
You have traveled very far to speak to me this way. You must be tired. Sit down. Let us talk like men.
You will comply or face consequences.
You have traveled very far to speak to me this way. You must be tired. Sit down. Let us talk like men.
You will comply or face. So that's one. There's let me play some. Okay, let me play. I demand to see the golden stool.
If you men will not go forward, then we will. We the women will fight. You want our stool? You will have to take our lives first.
I demand to. So yeah, just ideas. Just ideas. Like.
We don't go to their cities to work anymore. They come to ours to dream.
And what I'll say is, as African filmmakers, I think for us, we need to advance the Black race. What are the things, the intrinsics that make us African? We should be proud of that. And I tell my guys in the community, you're not learning this technology to do another James Bond movie. Nobody cares about that. How can you advance the Black race? What are the and for me, that's the fire that lit in me when essentially I started the Naija AI Film Festival. That question for me was, what is the future of African storytelling? And the future of African storytelling is at the intersection of art and technology. How do we use this technology, to tell stories that we've always wanted to tell? Like, for instance, I have the spin on something. If you look at, for instance, the beginning expedition of the 1890s, when British forces invaded and then took a lot of artwork. What if that artwork, all that artwork they took, what if they became alive and walked out of all the museums in the world? So I'm just going to play something for us.
Oh my God. This is so cool.
So yeah.
That's really cool.
and then you could drive the step further.
They thought they stole our bronzes. They didn't realize our bronzes have always been alive. It's now time for them to go back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This is
Called it primitive because they couldn't hear the mathematics in the beat.
Yeah. Let me. Okay. So, yeah.
They built a mirror that couldn't see us. So we built our own light. We are not what the data said. We are what the ancestors knew. And we are finally writing ourselves into the code. They built a
So, I did a series of something. I think I'll just run up on this note. I don't know if any of us have heard of Igbo landing. You know, I'm just gonna play some stuff. I guess it will. Yeah, you get it when you see it.
mm,
The water brought us here. The water will take us home.
mm,
You took the wrong people. Walk in Georgia. Water brought us here. Now will take us home.
mm.
The wrong people.
Okay. Just one more, and then maybe he's giving me the side eye, but I just want to give you guys
I'm enjoying this myself. No, not at all.
There is too much. I cannot learn it all. Did this tree grow in one day? One page today, one page tomorrow, one page every day until you die, and you will still not reach the end. That is the point. Story unshared is a wing unspread. There is too much.
So you can take, so imagine a situation where you take African proverbs, turn those into prompts. You never know what you're gonna get, you know. So again, for me, we're only limited by your imagination.
Every pattern makes the cloth whole.
Okay.
Brother, wait. The water is calm. I can see the bottom. You see? Nothing to... It is always the calm ones you must watch.
You were never behind. You were always ahead. I know this road.
I have walked it with others many times.
This is awesome.
The council fears this war will drain the treasury, Mother.
A full treasury and a conquered stout belongs to the conqueror.
And if we fall?
Then let them find only gold and ashes. But an ogre king does not ask if.
It was never the sword. It was always the maker.
The council fears this war will drain.
So last one, the very last one, it's something a series I started. I'm sure we all know Thor, we all know Shango and all that. So I started something that sort of called the Gods of Thunder.
Oh, that's cool.
None of you were built for this. I invented this.
Both of you, kneel. The sky answers to me.
Then let it answer. Enough. It ends now. None of you were built for this. End now. It hasn't started yet. Stay down. Never.
Children.
It is over.
So this is Amadioha, clean all of them. This will happen.
Did this. Kneel.
This is my era now.
Adorable.
I am not here to fight. I am here to collect.
All right, and I think it's a good place to to end this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Please let's hear in the chat. I'm just like I'm blown away. I'm so blown away. I'm so excited. I feel like for the next couple of days, I'm probably going to be inside some video creation tool, just creating things. But really, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Goosebumps, mind blowing. Yes, indeed. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone here. Before we get into one final word from you, I want to quick housekeeping things. For everyone who came today, thank you so much for your time. We are so grateful. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve your value, your opportunity to listen to Mr. Obinna, to learn, and we are trusting that this will be, we will get to celebrate you soon. So we would love to hear your feedback after today's session. Please look out for a feedback form coming to you in your inbox to help us keep creating spaces like this and building sections like this and seeing what you like and what reverberates with you. English. Our next session is the grant writing workshop. So that's going to be on the 25th of June, and it's titled How to Write and Win Grants for Creative Projects. So one of the conversations we had today that we touched on slightly was finances, right? Like this, whether you're buying credits or you're making a subscription for even the AI tools like Claude and so on and so forth, like all those things require money. And so our goal is to, in that session, help you to navigate how emerging filmmakers and creators like yourself who want to secure funding for their ideas will be able to learn how to structure your ideas into fundable projects, right? And write them, make them strong, compelling for grant applications. And if you've ever had a great idea, but you didn't know, how to get money behind it, this is the session that was built just for you. And very exciting news. So this is ENFAI, right? But we have another platform called Eastern Nigerian International Film Festival called ENF. It's coming up on November 18th to 21st. It's happening in Enugu. So we are still accepting film submissions up until July 31st. So if you've done something with AI, if you've done a movie, if you want to have us, look at them, see, compare them against others, please submit. We would be happy to look at it, and details will be shared on all our channels, Instagram, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. So thank you so much again, Mr. Obinna. I'm going to ask for one thing from everyone. I know, this is one of the Zoom worlds and virtual worlds, but if we're able to turn on our cameras, per chance, just to be like, hey, this happened and catch me when I'm rich. Please turn on your cameras and we can take a nice screenshot if you are able. Oh, look at that. Okay, perfect. Anyone else? Anyone else want to join the screenshot? There we go. There we go. There we go. This is a moment. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is going to be one of those throwbacks. Perfect. Thank you. Please join. I'm going to give 5 more seconds and then we're going to capture everyone. Yes, yes. Please join us. Please join us. There we go. There we go. There we go. 5, 4, 3. So everyone who has their camera up, I'm gonna ask you to do a nice cheese. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. There we go. Perfect. 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 Again, thank you so much, Mr. Obinna. Do you have one word to share with us, and then we can end the
Yes.
session?
What I would say is, guys, there's no story that you can't tell now. Don't let anything limit you, and then always remember the reason why you're creating. I think if there's any time to be a storyteller, this is the time because now you have no excuses. There is no excuses of, oh, I don't have a camera, I don't have money to buy a camera, but at least you can bring your story to life. So don't be limited by the things around you. You have what it takes to bring your story, and then don't be afraid to push the boundaries of African storytelling because if you can tell it, you can leave it now. So don't let anything stop you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So well said. Thank you, everyone who's attended. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Cheers.